Samantha Miller and Eric Hutchinson were in love, and on April 28th, they publicly proclaimed their love for one another at their wedding in Folly Beach, South Carolina. It was a beautiful ceremony and a wonderful reception afterwards. Two young newlyweds surrounded by the most important people in their lives. Eric remembers hearing Samantha telling him, "I don't want this night to ever end." But the reception did end, and in a very dramatic moment, the bride and groom were whisked away in a golf cart. But moments later, everything changed drastically. That golf cart was struck by a car reportedly going more than twice the speed limit. Samantha was killed, and Eric ended up in a coma and miraculously survived. The woman behind the wheel of that car was accused of driving under the influence. Her name is Jamie Komoroski, and tonight we will hear her jailhouse conversations with her father and boyfriend as we investigate the tragic death of Samantha Miller. I'm Benny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And this hour, we're looking at the lives of two young women. And the contrast could not be greater. It just couldn't. We begin with Samantha Miller. She was a beautiful bride. It was a great, great day, an unbelievable night. It's like the top of your life. You know, you're getting ready, starting your life with the man you love, beginning to build whatever they were going to build together. And everything was just beautiful and wonderful and full of joy and love and you know, thinking about the whole world and what's next and happiness. Right? That was that night. And really the life of Samantha Miller, right? Up until that point. Like I said, the contrast couldn't be greater. Then there's Jamie Komoroski. She's an alleged drunk, like on a bender, breaking laws, being completely reckless. Those are the allegations. Driving twice the speed limit, way over the legal limit, according to prosecutors in this case. There's nothing pretty about that. There was nothing great going on that night for her. There was nothing special about what she was doing. But you go to the contrast. She's alive, and Samantha isn't. The contrast is even greater when you think about this. For Eric and Samantha, Eric will never be able to see Samantha alive again. He'll never be able to share a moment. He's got memories. I'm sure he's got, I don't know how much of a memory he has of that night or of the crash because of what he went through, but he'll remember her, but he'll never be able to spend time with her, never be able to talk to her, never be able to talk face to face, hear her voice, share stories. That's gone. That's gone. So let's talk about the contrast. Because for Jamie and her, not her husband, but her boyfriend, right, doing video calls from jail. You're going to see him tonight on the show. But her life continues. Her relationship can continue, and she can, you know, can go on to the next day. Yeah, I understand she's in jail. She didn't get bond. Well, probably pretty appropriate under the circumstances. But the contrast couldn't be greater. She gets to wake up in the morning, go to sleep at night, think about the future, talk to her loved ones. Samantha doesn't. I want to bring in a special guest joining us tonight to give us a little more insight, because as we do in all these cases, you have to understand that, yeah, there's going to be someone on trial. There's going to be someone we'll hear a lot about her, but let's learn a little bit more about Samantha. Samantha's sister, Mandy Jenkins, joining us tonight. Mandy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know So many people have asked you and the rest of your family to speak, and it's exhausting, it's difficult, it's tough. But I appreciate it because you can give us a perspective that I can't and a soundbite can't. So I'm glad you're here tonight. I want to start with just one word. If you had to put one word to describe your sister, and you can take a moment here to think, what would that word be?
I think that word would be light.
Explain.
Sammy was the light of everyone's life. No matter if she knew you for a minute or if she didn't know you at all, or if she knew you for a lifetime, she was the light of your life.
What was it like? And I'm just guessing here out of the blue, but I have a feeling she was really excited, and the entire family was extremely excited about this wedding, and there was planning and parties and celebrations even before that night. Give us an idea of of how important this was for her and for your family.
I mean, as you mentioned earlier, a wedding is everyone's favorite time of their life, right? Like you're finally vowing to the person that you love. And Eric was her person and is her person. And when she told me that they got engaged, it was the most beautiful moment. And I just knew that he was the one. So the wedding was amazing. I mean, beautiful. It couldn't have gone more perfect.
I'm looking at the pictures, and beach weddings, right? Beach weddings can always be a little iffy. You know, is the surf going to be up? What's the weather going to be like? We're outside. But it looks like everything worked out perfectly.
Yeah, there was a little hiccup. So we had our rehearsal, like wedding rehearsal the day prior, and the wind was blowing a different direction. So when we did plan on the bride's family is going to be on this side and the groom's family is going to be on this side, Sammy was very insistent on which side she was going to stand on based on the direction of the wind, because she wanted her hair not in her face. And so when we got to the wedding, we had to swap sides. I was like, we didn't practice this. And my girls were the flower girls. And I'm like, I know I told you to go to this side, but now you have to go to this side. So it was funny, but yeah, exactly.
How's everybody holding up? I know every day is difficult. When you think of her, what's the image that comes to your mind?
I really stick to everything that we know of Sam and how amazing she is and was. I mean, I hate saying was, even though I understand that she's not here anymore. But everything that she is, because she's changing people to this day, making moves on people that may have not like connected with our family or her or anything. And just, she is leading people in a direction that they need to go because of this. So I'm happy for it. How we are healing, we are so much better in a sense of, and this may be me speaking out of turn, but I uprooted my family from, we were living in Florida and moved back to North Carolina right after it happened. I left Florida to come to the wedding and never went back to Florida with my daughters and my husband. And we are since like very close to my mom and my brother and everyone. And it's very grateful, like to have us each very close.
And I mean, that's her, like making sure everyone's together.
That's Sam.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I want to take a moment, and you can pass on the question if you want, and I'm fine with that. But Tonight, we're going to show some of these jailhouse calls by the woman who's accused of driving drunk and causing all of this. Did you watch them? Did you have any reaction to them? Have you avoided them? What are your thoughts there?
I think as a family, we've almost avoided them, but not in a sense of I don't want to see them. It's just, how is that going to change anything? It's not going to bring Sammy back. Obviously, they're being released. It's hurtful to hear what is being said or not being said. If that is a thing. But again, I mentioned in another call, Sam is who she is, and the driver is who she is. And I'll leave it at that.
Understood. I'm looking over your left shoulder, and there's a sign on the wall there. Are you familiar with that sign? I mean, a lot of little things there seem very appropriate. And is that who got that? Is that someone from your family bought that?
So we moved here with not a lot, and I went to a lot of Goodwills, and Sammy was with me multiple times. That sign was one of them. And if I could tell you a quick story.
Sure.
I know I don't have much time, but I put my girls, I have 2 daughters, Sammy's nieces, they're Auntie Sammy, and they loved and adored, into a summer camp. My girls have never gone anywhere. They have been with me. I have planned on homeschooling. I've kept them with me. This has all kind of changed everything. Long story short, I went out one day, and at a Home Goods, Marshalls type deal was a sign of "Love you more," and this sign behind me, which Sammy's saying is "Love you more." And it was right there next to each other. And then I also saw a sign that said, "Heaven is a little closer at the beach." Sammy died at the beach. And it was just Sammy was here. And at the same time, the preschool, or the school where my girls were at, called me and gave me a scholarship for the girls to continue camp for the rest of the summer. And it was Sammy did that.
Absolutely. Mandy, thank you so much for sharing all that. And I think we have a much better understanding of Sammy and your family. And please give our best to everyone there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mandy. Okay, so we're going to show you these jailhouse calls, but first, wanted to get a little bit of analysis from some folks who know how things work down in South Carolina. Joining me from Columbia, South Carolina, criminal defense attorney Tristan Schaefer, and attorney from the 5th Circuit Solicitor's Office, April Sampson, is back with us. Great to see you both. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let me start here with this case and charges like this. April, I'll begin with you. How serious are these charges? What sort of ramifications are there? It's not a murder case, right? It's different than a murder case, but what are we looking at here?
It's different than a murder case in that you don't have to show with the murder, you would have to show malice and intent to kill. With felony DUI, you really just have to show that the driver was driving and impaired when doing so, and then caused the accident, or in this case, crashed into the victims. And so it'll be a battle of how drunk was she, and from my understanding of the evidence, she was way over the limit. And so then the next thing will be, well, did that impairment cause this wreck? And since my understanding of the facts are, for that part, I think it may be pretty cut and dry, and therefore different than a murder where you're really trying to figure out who did it or did they intend to kill them. You don't have to show intent to kill for felony DUI.
So Tristan, what sort of time is someone looking at? You know, she's being held on bond now. She'll get credit for all those days. But one thing I've noticed here at Court TV, because we cover cases all around the country, and when it comes to people behind the wheel causing death, I have seen such a range of sentences and punishments for this type of conduct. How about in South Carolina? What are the parameters here that you're working within?
Well, the lead charge is felony DUI death in this, which carries up to 25 years, is a non-parolable offense, which means she would have to do at least 85% of it. If you look at her total sentence exposure, from my understanding of it, it's 25 plus 40 years on top of that. So you're talking about 65 potential years in prison.
And is there any defense, or is this, I mean, I see it the same way April does, pretty cut and dry. I mean, unless someone messed up the blood alcohol, I mean, it seems you're under the influence, you're going twice the speed limit, and you crash, right? I mean, is it that simple, or are they going to attempt to point the finger at the golf cart driver as being at fault here?
Now, I certainly don't think that that's the direction they're heading in based off of what I've heard. However, honestly, these cases are never 100% cut and dry. There's always details you need to look at. Always, essentially you need to look at the evidence, and that's information that I don't have, and none of us have, obviously. We don't have a full copy of every single piece of evidence that they have.
You expect a challenge. You expect a challenge. We're almost out of time. April?
No, sir.
April, what do you think would be fair, and we have about 10 seconds here, literally, what would be justice here if, in fact, she's found guilty in terms of time?
I would say, 10, 15 years. She took a life. I don't think she'll get the maximum because she's not a felon. She's not done this before. She's not got a record. But I wouldn't expect it to be too light either, because we do have a death and a guy put in a coma.
All right. April Sampson, Tristan Schaefer, great to see you both tonight. Thank you for giving us that insight on the law down there in South Carolina. Drastically different around the country. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into those jailhouse calls. We've got body language experts, plus coming up next hour.
In Eddy County, New Mexico, Alexi Treviso is accused of murdering her baby in a hospital bathroom, but now her baby's estate is suing the hospital for wrongful death. What does this mean? Who killed the baby?
I'm sorry. He came out and beat me. I didn't know what to do. Lexi, I told you about this. I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth. Scared. It was not crying or nothing.
A man married 6 times. 4 of his wives died under mysterious circumstances.
Eccentric widower Thomas Randolph,
charged with the murders of his wife and the man he allegedly paid to kill her.
A 2017 conviction overturned.
The plan between Mr. Miller and Mr. Randolph was to kill Sharon.
Now he faces a jury once again.
The Widower Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
This had to happen to me.
Because bad things happen to good people, honey. That's why.
Why does this have to happen to me? No, she's alive. It didn't happen like someone allegedly, was drinking, and then someone was allegedly getting behind the wheel, and someone was allegedly going twice the speed limit. So it didn't just happen to her. What happened to Samantha Miller. She just got married. She's in a golf cart, getting ready for the rest of her life. Interesting. I'm trying to get some insight into these jailhouse calls made by Jamie Komoroski. So joining us from Alexandria, Virginia, body language expert, author of You Can't Lie to Me, Janine Driver is with us. And in Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, body language expert, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Great to have you both here tonight. Thank you.
Let's get into it. I've got more of this call between Jamie and her father, so let's watch a little bit more of this, and then we'll come back and get a little bit of analysis. Let's take a look.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. Better than...
Yeah, it's just it's CJ's birthday, and...
Well, let me tell you something. He ain't doing it anyway. He ain't missing nothing.
Yeah, but I love him, and it just makes me think of everyone.
I know. Well, I'm here, and guess what? They ain't doing nothing. They don't want to do nothing.
Well, I spoke with the lawyers today.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like them?
I like them.
They're top notch. They're hot to chop.
They seem really good.
Who?
They seem really good.
They are really good. At the same time, we can't be doing any better than what we're doing. We got the best team to help you. Right?
I still just don't know why this had to happen to me.
Because bad things happen to good people, honey. That's why. It's just fate. It's just something that happened to you, and we are going to deal with it the best we can, okay? And it's life-altering. You're going to, experience stuff that you never thought of, and when it's all over and done with, and everything is finished, you're going to be a better person.
Then what if they send me away for a really long time?
Well, we're trying to avoid that, aren't we? We cannot do anything more than what we're doing. You know what they said about your attorneys, right?
What?
They said the family must be mafia to hire them people. The other thing
They didn't say that.
I swear to God.
I just want to hug you guys so bad.
So do I, Jamie. So does your mom. Okay. And as soon as it is possible, we will be hugging you.
All right, it's a father and a daughter. I sort of understand what the dad is trying to do here, but Janine Driver, what did you notice there? What sort of struck you in that conversation?
I think you don't need to be a body language expert to first notice her whining voice. This is a manipulative tool often used by children and some women when we feel like we can't solve the problems ourselves. This is not indicative of authentic sadness. People can be sad and verklempt and try to gather their voice. But this whining when your little kid wants sugared cereal for dinner, please. So this tool is often used by children and women. Some men use it, but it backfires on them because it hurts them, but although research shows only momentarily. So she's using this as a manipulative tool, and it makes sense. And it only works when you have a compassionate person like Dad. So we hear this whining here. That drives me nuts. If I hear this, I'll never rewatch this footage. So if you send this to me, I will never rewatch this. It's so irritating and grating. Body language-wise, you see her patting the back of her head. This is a high-level pacifier. A pacifier is something Vinny and you at home, we do to comfort ourselves. It's okay, I'll get through it, it's okay. The higher the pacifier, the more stress and anxiety. If you're ever in a corporate meeting and a negotiation and someone says, yes, Vinny, I like your proposal, and they pat their head at the same time, this is the body language move that turns agreement to disagreement that no one teaches us in school. It's saying there's a problem here. So it makes sense she's stressful, trying to manipulate Dad with that whiny fake voice. If she was by herself, she wouldn't be sitting there whining all day. It's only done when someone's listening. And the other thing, we're seeing some eye movement, and I think that you'll show us some more videos, but here we're seeing her look up, and when she's looking up to her left, if she's a typical right-handed person, she's just visualizing a picture in her mind's eye, and then you'll see her go down. Right here, she's even looking down towards her left, and that's internal dialogue. Now, her eyebrows pulled together enough is authentic sadness. The problem is, it's not authentic sadness for the bride she killed on her wedding day. It's sadness I believe, for herself. And the reason I believe that is because that's all she's talking about. So here it's a catalyst. We never know what body language is a catalyst from, like what's the catalyst. But here, if I'd put my money on it, poor me, because that's what she's saying.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, what did you notice? What struck you in this conversation?
Well, first of all, it's the prototypical narcissist who says, why did this have to happen to me? You know, everything is about me, me, me. But what's interesting is when she actually had the accident, she told the police, the people around her, she said, all of a sudden, something hit me. I did nothing wrong. So she was starting from the beginning to think, you know, why me? Why did they hit me? You know? Also, the father, I understand that he's trying to soothe his daughter and he feels bad and trying to cheer her up or whatever. But, you know, that is not a good moral compass to set, to say, oh, well, good things happen. I mean, bad things happen to good people. That's why it happened. You know, that's not a teaching moment that he's taking advantage of. Also, you know, her mother was involved in an accident, a car accident, where she killed a fireman in New Jersey. And the strange thing is that nothing happened to her mother. I mean, she didn't get prosecuted. And the family of the fireman went to the firehouse or went to the police and said, you know, what are you going to be doing? Or we're waiting for you to do something. And they never did anything. So the mother got away with it. So she's probably thinking or hoping, well, I'll get away with it too, just like my mother.
Okay, let's watch a little more of this phone call between Jamie Komoroski and her father.
I'm just so happy that you were able to get like such good people to like help me. Like, there's so many people that don't even like, they can't even afford like to get a lawyer or anything, and I just feel so lucky that I have such good people that are able to help me.
Jamie, that's what Daddy-O does, okay? Don't even think about it. You don't need to thank me. This is what Daddy-O does, because he loves his kid, okay? No question about it, okay? Not even, hold on, the train's going by.
I missed that train.
Yeah, well, I kind of got used to it, okay?
Well, the good thing is also, I was thinking, like, even when you like have to do time or whatever, a lot of the time you can get out on like good behavior and stuff, and so they'll cut it like in half.
Absolutely. But don't think about that yet. That's way in the future. That's a year down the road. Okay? There's no sense in
the future that I'm thinking about is when all this is done, and when all this is done, and I can just be happy. And I think that you're right, because I think it will teach. It's going to be, obviously, it's going to teach me a lot. So.
All right, Dr. Carol Lieberman, I'll start with you on this one. Sounds like she wants to learn a lesson. She wants to grow from this.
Yeah, right. You know, they're both sort of trying to comfort each other, but it is hard to watch because it isn't sincere, and there's nothing about, oh, I feel so bad about that lady that I killed, or in her, you know, on her wedding day, how terrible that is. I mean, it's all about me. Comfort me, Daddy. I'm so, even when she says, I'm so lucky to have like a father who will pay for my lawyers, and that was kind of interesting when they said people are saying that they must have a connection to the mafia to get these lawyers. I don't know, but it's fake. A lot of it is so fake.
All right, Janine Driver, your thoughts about part 2 of this conversation.
I'm writing down as fast as I can all my thoughts so my ADD doesn't ping me. First of all, I talked about whining earlier, and I want to say that people who whine by nature, these are people who prefer to complain and not take responsibility for their action. So if you think about people in your life who might be kind of using this manipulative tool, ask yourself, does this person take responsibility for their action? So here we have this symbiotic relationship with this whining and her not taking responsibility. To Dr. Carol Lieberman's point as well, her not taking responsibility, we're hearing it in her word choices. She said, she said to her dad, I heard, you can get out on good behavior and time can be cut by half. You is when we say you, it should only be used when it's common to mankind. You sleep at a hotel, you don't sleep well because you're not used to the bed. It's common to mankind. We're not all going to jail. So instead here, we should see ownership. I heard that if I'm found guilty, I will be able to get out 50% earlier there's no ownership here. And so this is something we often see with criminals, athletes, politicians, celebrities when they're in the court and they're not owning it. Even Nixon himself, when he had those big famous interviews about Watergate, one day he finally broke, and Nixon said, I let the American people down. I let the American people down. Kids who wanted to go into politics, I let them down. You didn't know it at the time, but I thought I would win. And here I did. I let them down. And this is owning it. And we're not hearing it, even with the statement, hey, Dad, you can get good behavior. She's still separating herself from it. It's very sad to me because the person we should be talking about is this bride and her family. And instead, we're constantly focused. It's so sad because she's so focused on herself. We can't stop it. It's like watching a train wreck. We can't not watch.
All right, Janine Driver, Dr. Carol Lieberman staying with us. When we come back, the conversation between Jamie and her boyfriend. That's next.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Couldn't keep my life straight.
That demanded our attention.
They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves.
How in the world can a mother wait 30 days before reporting her child missing?
These are the trials that became legendary. And now you can relive them all in one place. Court TV Legendary Trials. Go to courttv.com/legendary trials to find out how to watch.
Sometimes I'll have a dream about you, and I'm like in bed with you, and I'm like holding, and like in my dream I'm holding you, but then I wake up and it's my blanket that I'm holding, but then I like close my eyes and I'm like, no.
Top of the show, I talked about the contrast between Samantha Miller and Jamie Komoroski. Well, this is a big part of it, right? She can still smile, she can still dream, and she can still speak with her boyfriend. Still with us, Janine Driver, Dr. Carol Lieberman. Let's do this. Let's watch a little bit of the back and forth here between Jamie and her boyfriend, Evan, and then get your analysis.
Lunch today was it was 2 slices of white bread, an uncooked piece of bologna like this big, uncooked piece of bologna, and then like cabbage and 2 cookies.
Oh, you got 2 cookies. Do you get any like condiments, like mayonnaise or mustard?
No. They fed us hot dogs one night, 2 hot dogs, and no ketchup or anything.
Oh my gosh.
No buns or anything. It's so bad. But I just got my snack pack in the mail today, so I have Doritos and cookies. These cookies are so addicting. I already ate like 20 of them today. So the cookies that they give you for dessert, sometimes you get cookies and sometimes you get cake. These cookies that they give you at this jail, I'm going to start buying them when I come home. I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh.
And I really like their soap.
All right, Janine Driver, what are you seeing in this dynamic between Jamie and her boyfriend, Evan, in this jailhouse call?
A friend of mine works at the FBI, and who used to work at the FBI behavioral unit. His name's Frank Marsh, and he says everything says something. This right here is saying a lot. I got to do a sidebar story for you, Vinny, and you at home, which I have 3 sons, and my 2 youngest are 10 and 9, and my 10-year-old and 9-year-old were sitting in the room while I was watching this, and my 10-year-old Charlie came over, and he goes, "How old is she?" And I go, "She's 25, honey." And he goes, "She sounds like she's a little kid, Mom. They gave her a driver's license." You know, like my kids can't even believe how immature she's talking about her snack pack and her Doritos. And my kids could hear it in her tone and pitch of voice, this childlike banter. Now, brains don't fully develop till around that age anyway, around 25-ish, a little earlier. But she's stuck in this ego zone. I love Dr. Lieberman to share any feedback on maybe that, because in handwriting, a friend of mine, Michelle Dresbold, talks about this ego. When people are stuck in the ego all about themselves, their handwriting literally stays in this middle zone. And you can see it, even school teachers that are having inappropriate relationships with students, they'll write in this ego zone. And body language-wise, we see this like little giddiness in her head tilting. No face touching here, right? Which would be stress and anxiety. Her eyes open wide, which are surprise and fear when she talks about there's no condiments. So surprise and fear is showing up with the fact that she got 2 hot dogs and no hot dog buns, or there's no condiments, or they had a big thing of bologna and she's describing the bologna. It's even to a 10 and a 9-year-old little kid, a body language expert, Janine Driver, they can see that there's a problem with this young woman here.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, what did you see, and what do you think about this relationship? Does he look or seem like he's still committed?
Absolutely not. He looks like he would rather be anywhere else in the world but on the phone with her. He has already, checked out from the relationship. I think he's disgusted by what she did. I think he's disgusted by her not having any remorse. He has this fixed grin. He's trying to look like he's listening to her or interested in her when she's talking about these cookies. And she either is pretending not to notice his disinterest, or she notices but she doesn't want to comment about it because she doesn't want him to break up with her. But then I think he's trying to hang in there because he doesn't want to seem like a jerk if he leaves her now when she's in prison. But he has checked out of this relationship.
All right, we have a little more to listen to in the back and forth between Jamie and her boyfriend, Evan. Let's watch.
The deputy sheriff, the head person of Charleston County, I met with her today, and she's trying to help me out.
That's good.
And she is you don't need to, I don't want you in here, you should be with your family, blah blah blah. So that's really good.
That is good. Yeah.
So then I can hopefully be home sooner. She's the head deputy, whatever. She was really nice too. I think her name is Kirsten DeMontes or something. But she's really nice, and I think she's gonna help me. So I think things are looking up. Things are looking up. Something similar happened, I guess, to someone that she knew personally, and so she related to the story, and she was just really relating to me, and she just seemed really sincere, and she really wants to help, and so I'm really happy. And she also is the one that got my mom and dad able to visit me in person.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, once again, he doesn't seem to be sharing her excitement here in this moment, where she's talking about, wow, this person is trying to help me, and she's really excited, and I don't see it from him.
Right. Oh, you're going to be coming home soon? Oh, great. It's and she got the sheriff, or the woman that she was talking about, she got her into this call that's been, the tape has been given out about this sheriff, and has gotten her into deep trouble. Because, if it's true, if this is actually true, what she's saying, because apparently you're not supposed to be giving special treatment, and now they're saying that she's not giving, she does this all the time. It really isn't special, and it's certainly possible that she is misinterpreting it because, as a narcissist, that she thinks she deserves special things.
Yeah. Janine Driver, I'll let you finish this one out. What did you think?
The irony. So the irony, we have a behavioral fingerprint that connects to how we make decisions, Vinny, and you at home. And what we're seeing Jamie do here is she's leaning forward and back as she's adjusting in the chair. These are people who think about the consequences. These are people that set goals and measure progress, and they think, but what if this happens and what if that happens? And we're hearing that here about what might happen with her, the visit, how long the sentence will be. The irony is, how come she didn't use that skill set before getting behind the wheel, loaded drunk 3 times the amount of the legal limit? How come she's not using that with empathy and putting that onto this family that has now been completely destroyed because of her? Just because we're motivated to spend time in an area of decision making, it's the perfect example. It doesn't mean we're good at it. So she's thinking about the consequences, but she didn't think about it that night before she got behind the wheel.
Janine Driver, Dr. Carol Lieberman, amazing insight tonight. Thank you so much for sharing with us, and we'll see you again really, really soon.